I just found out that my degree is useless.
A realization I've had to come to terms with is that I went to school, worked full time, and got a full 4-year bachelor's degree, and it ain't do nothing.
I have an English degree, and I said for years, watching my friends go into coding, that that was a bubble that was going to burst.
Do you feel like you graduated with a useless degree? Well, these people also feel that pain. Today, we're diving into the so-called useless degrees and why you may or may not have one. Let's get into the video.
I have an English degree, and I said for years, watching my friends go into coding, that that was a bubble that was going to burst, because rich people are not going to tell you how to get rich. Can we just say that? Rich people are not going to give the game away for free. If there's a big push for you to do something, it's because it benefits something else. And when I was in college in the 2010s, everyone was coding, and my friend got a job offer as a junior. He didn't even have his degree yet, at like $80K. Crazy work. And I remember thinking, this cannot be sustainable. They can't keep graduating kids into six-figure roles without something happening. And from then on, I knew they're pushing everyone into coding so that they can saturate the market with coders, so they can drive the price down for entry-level coders. And that's what they did. And then when that didn't work, they built AI to code. All that to say, you're never going to go wrong if you follow your passion, because your heart's in it and you can get through it when it's hard. A lot of these coding kids, their heart's not in it, never was. Now what are they left with? It sucks. But rich people are not going to tell you how to get rich. If you're getting put on game, if someone is telling you, oh, this is a great way to get rich, no one knows about it, you're a mark. You're hearing about it because you're the mark that's going to make them rich. I have an English degree, and
so I agree to a certain extent with what she's saying. Again, there was this big push for people to learn to code. Like, I graduated high school in 2016. That's all people were doing, is becoming software developers. Like, they were going into computer programming. If you saw the salary of $80,000 in 2010, in today's money, it's like a no-brainer to go into that. Of course, you want to be passionate about what you do. And of course, some people are passionate about software development. It really is quite creative if you think about it. There's so much you can do. There's front end, back end. You can have a lot of fun with developing. And there's other skills in the technology sphere that you can go for. You can become an auditor, you can become an engineer, coder, consultant, other things like that. You can create and do a lot of fun things. English degrees, that's requiring knowledge of humanity, really. It's a humanities. The comments here are like, rich people are not going to tell you how to get rich. The density of that statement and its implications is why having an English degree will never go out of style. I agree. English degree is very important, especially if you want to be able to communicate. I would assume communications would be a very good degree to have as well. They're pushing everyone into cybersecurity. Exactly. That is the field I was in. English BA here. I make $300,000, and my communication and analytical skills have been integral to my success. I didn't follow the money. I followed a career that would make me happy, and it paid me back. I mean, that's absolutely fantastic. Very phenomenal. I think you're probably an outlier with the 300,000, but that's still great.
The thing is, everybody wants to call a humanities degree useless until you want to go to a concert, until you want to watch your favorite show on Netflix, until you want to watch a good movie, until you want to hear a good album. You can't make fun of people studying humanities when all you consume is art on your free time. Mind you, I'm defending the humanities as someone with a STEM background, because it's the people who are studying gender studies and music theory and film studies and media studies and English and history. That's what makes the movie so good, because they understand what human desires need. They know how to fulfill us. Like, Netflix is a multi-billion-dollar company. Do you think it's engineers that are writing our hit TV shows? No.
A realization I've had to come to terms with is that I went to school, worked full time, and got a full 4-year bachelor's degree, and it ain't do nothing for me. I feel like I just wasted my time. I feel like if you're not going to do anything like medical related or law or human resources, and even then, what's the point? What's the point?
Your major doesn't matter. Okay, hear me out. I'm going to have people flanking me in the comments. Oh my gosh, that's so stupid. Of course your major matters. Look, if you're not going to be an engineer, a doctor, nurse, or like a lawyer, it doesn't matter. Okay, let me tell you why. I graduated college early. I graduated in 3.5 years at like a really well-known school, a very competitive school, very proud of myself, with a political science major. You want to know what I wanted to do with that? Nothing. Do you want to know what I regret? My major. Not because it's not useful, because I think I actually have a lot of skills from it that are very useful in everyday life, but because it wasn't enjoyable for me. Also, I'm walking on my treadmill very slowly. It wasn't enjoyable for me, okay? But let me tell you, I am an exceptional writer. I, for my entire college degree, have been writing research papers, synopses, capstones, everything. I'm an incredible writer. I know how to analyze data. Do you want to know what I do for a living? I work in social media. Do you want to know what you do in social media? You have to be creative. You have to analyze data, and you have to be able to write well. You have to be able to research things. So whenever I've applied to jobs and they're like, ooh, actually, you don't have a marketing degree. You want to know what? I have 4 years of experience under my belt in social media marketing with incredibly good results in social media. Your degree doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter. Do you want to also know what I'm doing with my time, with my degree and my incredible writing skills? I'm writing a fantasy series, a romantasy series, actually. And that's what I'm doing with my time, social media and writing novels.
I just found out that my degree is useless. I got my master's in public health like 5 months ago. I don't even know, but apparently it don't even matter anymore. I think it's so interesting what the Department of Education specifically chose female fields. Like, let's call it what it is, female fields. Like, these types of degrees and master's degrees that mainly are dominated by women, which regardless, master's degrees, PhDs, these different fields are going to be more dominated by women as time goes on because more women are getting their degrees than men are. Let's be so for real. But I think it's very interesting the ones they chose, okay? That are typically taken over by women and how this like converges with this new conservative idea of how like men in certain spaces and spheres think that, you know, education and careers are what's keeping women from having kids because the birth rate is at like a 1.3 right now. The thing is, if my degree's useless, then give me my money back, run me my check, because I pulled like the amount of loans you have to take out for these master's degrees is insane. It's robbery actually, especially if you have to move to a place, get an apartment, and like get a job and live there and do all this and that. But I think it's interesting that they're lowering the amount of money that you're gonna get in student loans, which means you're gonna more likely you have to take out private loans to finish these degrees. You're not gonna be able to finish them with just the student loans, the federal loans you normally get, which means less people are gonna get these degrees. And also, if the degree is not considered a professional degree anymore under the Department of Education, certain jobs are gonna be like, we don't really care that you, like, they're not going to pay you more for the degree that you earned in this specific field. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could go and work in public health in anything. I don't need to have a degree to work in public health. However, getting a degree in public health will get me into certain positions that are specified to my actual, like, what I work for, right? So I worked in policy and advocacy, and I wanted to do that. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's interesting because it's like, you want the people to have babies. You want the women to have babies, okay? Because you are tired of them going to school, but you will not provide them with any health insurance. You will not provide them with jobs to maintain these children because the men's jobs are not enough to maintain. People have to have 2 jobs in that household. Okay, in a cishet household, you have to have 2 to maintain those babies. You want us to, like, to go back to these old values. Like, what world are you living in if you think that taking the professional degree out, and also, nurse practitioner, are we okay? Oh my gosh, what are y'all smoking? What is RFK smoking up in there? Like, taking that out, it's like, you think that this is gonna stop people from going to school? It's gonna stop a lot of people from going to school, I'm not gonna lie. But the carnage you're about to ensue, if you thought that I was insufferable, I've met more insufferable graduate students. You don't know who you're messing with.
I am 5 years post-grad with my master's degree, and I can finally say with certainty that I regret it. I honestly forget that I even have a master's degree. I started in 2019 before the big AI bubble, and I genuinely thought that this would have been a good choice for me. Now, the problem with AI and what we're going through today is that people feel like they're experts in things and they don't need specialized knowledge anymore. This is why we went to school, by the way, to get this specialized knowledge. I spent tens of thousands of dollars to realize that everything I learned in school was basically Googleable. It is something that probably ChatGPT could have given me the same answers on. The difference is I just sat in a classroom all day and spent a lot of money for it. I always ask people that want to do a master's degree, what is your intentions?
And not to negate what she's saying here, but ChatGPT isn't exactly the most knowledgeable platform you can use, most knowledgeable AI. The thing with ChatGPT is it says what you want essentially for it to say. Like, that's why people are going through AI psychosis, because they're just getting this feedback loop of what they want to hear. It's not a good thing. Remember that one girl on TikTok that essentially just spoke to ChatGPT all the time about how her therapist or psychiatrist wanted to be in a relationship with her, but it was really the other way around and there was a lot of just nonsense there. So don't think that ChatGPT knows everything, or Claude AI or OpenSea, or, you know, whatever the other AI tools are.
Are you struggling to find a job? Are you scared of becoming an adult and you want to delay it a few more years? Do you want some amazing study abroad experience before you settle down and start a life? Well, those were all the things I wanted. The biggest issue with studying abroad is that the connections that that school has in the country that you're in will not really come back to your home country. So unless you plan on staying in that country forever, you're not really going to find opportunities in any other country that you want to live or you plan to move back to. And yes, it's amazing to make connections with people, and that's kind of...
And with that also, I think with study abroad, so I graduated during COVID and my university required that you go on study abroad. Well, guess when my study abroad was set to go? April of 2020, of May of 2020. So I was not able to go, which I was happy about because I didn't want to spend the extra money to do it. It wasn't free, so I had to get a scholarship and stuff like that. But study abroad is more so to broaden your perspective of the world. It's not necessarily to get you connections. If they're selling you on that, they better get you connections in that country.
And the reason why we go to school, right, to like make these connections, it's not just about the education. The issue is that one, people are really antisocial these days, okay? They don't know how to have conversations, and they're not really looking to make like lifelong connections anymore. And two, the biggest issue is that everyone's in the same boat as you. Like, everyone is searching for a job. Everyone is searching for that connection. No one is that connection. So your connections that are going to help you find jobs are really just going to be job fairs and like whatever your university sets up. But again, you come back to the issue with if you don't plan on staying in that.
And then the thing also is when you get older too, those connections, hopefully, it sounds like her and her cohort. Wow, what a difficult language. English is my first and only language. Anyway, eventually, once you guys get jobs and time passes and you get more experience, those connections that you made in college, hopefully, if you plan on transitioning to a different job, then you can get a job there.
Exact location, you're gonna have trouble finding a job after. And I get it, not every degree is a scam. Like, I'm sure there's some science degrees still, or being a doctor, like you obviously need to study for that, whatever. I'm talking about like the business, the communications, the marketing, the computer science, basically anything that's kind of been replaced by AI today. I find these degrees to be complete scams because the only reason.
And has anything been completely replaced by AI? Let's see here. So according to Anthropic, which I believe they are the creators of Claude AI, they mapped out which jobs AI could potentially replace. So a great recession for white collar workers is absolutely possible. Like, of course, we're thinking maybe copywriters, but understand that these AI models, maybe they are coming out with better models. They don't really sound natural. You really need people to convey a net message. What is like the most AI generated thing that you can hear is like, it's not this, but it's this, right? It's very black and white, if then statement type stuff in the script. If you were going to have ChatGPT or Claude or any of the other AI tools right for you. So they're saying that the lawyer, financial analyst, and software developer, not the warehouse worker, are more likely to be replaced. Computer programmers, customer service reps, and data entry keyers are most exposed. Which again, that makes sense, computer programmers, but again, if you're an expert in your field, how are you supposed to become an expert in your field if they're not hiring any true entry-level jobs? Like, you need 5 years of experience. Okay, well then I'm just gonna put 5 years of my undergraduate plus graduate degree to get to that years of experience, because I have no idea what employers are even thinking nowadays. And this article is also saying that AI capabilities are not quite undergoing a job reckoning just yet. And hopefully it doesn't get to that point, because what is going to happen when no one has jobs and we all have to do the tasks that we were told AI was going to take over, like the ones that break our backs, such as the warehouse jobs that they're talking about.
Why you really pursue higher education in these degrees is because you can't find a job after your bachelor's. But what are we doing if we can't find a job after our bachelor's? Like, then what was the point of the bachelor's? I am 5 years post-grad, and I do regret getting a master's degree. I'm happy that I had the fun. I guess I had the money to blow, which doesn't make it as hard for me as it is for other people, and I recognize like that privilege. But if I had gone into debt over this degree, I don't think I would have come out of it, to be honest. I don't think I ever found a job that made so much money to.
And most people, at least in the United States, and if you look at tuition costs, let's look at just let's say like Michigan State, cost and aid. Mind you, what I'm about to tell you is in-state costs. So the tuition itself is around $17,000. Fees and taxes is about $500. And then they're estimating the other living expenses that you're gonna have. So like food and housing, book supplies, personal travel. So like $13,000, $1,400, $4,000, $1,300. And just for the year, okay, the year alone, they're saying $37,000 for 1 year. And that is in-state tuition. God forbid you're out of state. Let's hear what out-of-state tuition is. Out-of-state tuition is more than the entire first year for in-state. Tuition costs $44,300. And of course, to add insult to injury, $500 in fees and taxes. And then whatever your food and housing, they're estimating it to be the same cost. It blows my mind. When I went to school around the time that she did, so I graduated in 2020, as I was saying, it was expensive, but this is just like, I can't even believe this. This is crazy. I think I spent like maybe 10 grand a year for my tuition. I did all the other sort of steps. So there was this program where you're able to get college credits while you were in high school, and not just like AP advanced placement courses, which I got those as well. And then I went to community college for a year to transfer those classes to an in-state school because there's no way I was going out of state. I just simply could not afford it. My family could not afford it. And then there was this program where if it was over 13 credits, then everything after that was free. So I did 20 to 22 credits each semester to graduate early because I was not dealing with any of that.
Pull me out of debt for like $200,000 degree, whatever master's degrees are going for these days. I didn't pay that. I had a scholarship, but I can't imagine paying that much money for something that doesn't have a good return on investment. So to the people asking me if a master's degree is worth it, it's largely dependent on you, what you want to do, if you have the money to blow, and if you're okay with doing something completely different than what your degree is in. But I have not really been happy.
Even if you do have the money to blow, will you enjoy even learning in this sort of environment? Or would it be better for you to just learn on your own? If that's like for a graduate degree specifically. Undergraduate is kind of a prerequisite in order to get a job nowadays. But my golly, it is just so... It's difficult. And with the job market nowadays, I did a video on layoffs. It's not getting any better. Honestly, it's projected to get even worse. Oh my goodness. AI ruined everything we do at this point. Exactly. You're greatly overestimating the capabilities of AI. I went back to school during COVID to get an MBA and it changed my life. I work in software development and can guarantee AI is nowhere near as powerful as you think it is. But imagine, like, we got AI, at least to the public, I think in beginning of 2022. And in just 4 years, we have seen massive updates, especially in their illustrative capabilities. Now, there is this kind of depth that is lacking in AI art, but to the average Joe, it looks nice. You can even ask AI to make it look like a sketch. I do feel bad for artists, but still, I don't think artists will be out of a job because there's going to be this thing called AI art and then art that's probably passion art or something like that, where if you actually want art created by a human, if you want art created by an AI, go ahead, go for it, but it depends on what you value. So what did you think? Do you have a useless degree? Do you believe there is such a thing as useless degrees? I am of the thought that college is quite important, especially if you want to build connections with people. For knowledge, you should always be learning. I don't care what degree you have, as long as you keep on learning different things, you will never be valueless. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like the video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, and I'll see you in the next one. But before you leave, YouTube thinks you'll like this video next.